Artificial intelligence-driven robotics is rapidly entering the workplace environment in a variety of capacities. Most projections take the market to over $125 billion by the year 2025. And Samay, at GreyOrange, you're really on the leading edge of bringing some of these applications to market. What is the best use case today for the Grey Matter platform?
One of the big use cases for gray matter is how gray matter basically in upstream integrates into two different subsystems, IT systems. One's retail, one is online, right? Merges them together at the physical layer, and and when you're actually moving inventory through the supply chain, it can be omni-channel inventory. You can very easily shift, all your supply chain to start serving another channel without any retooling or any re-engineering.
What is the cost to get the Grey Matter platform deployed in the industrial environment, and what does that generate in terms of return on investment profile for customers?
Compared to what I would say as traditional industrial automation or industrial robotics, the capex actually significantly lesser. It's sometimes 1/5 or 1/4 of the capex. But a better way to look at it is the return profile. And typically, people could see anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5 years in returning the entire capex or the investment that they're doing.
Some customers are in industries that are moving very quickly, like fast fashion, for example. How does the platform maintain flexibility and give customers the ability to adapt quickly as market demands change?
It's built for processing hundreds and thousands and millions of data points together to take decisions as to what should the robots, the associates, the inventory, how should it be best used at any time, right? So in terms of flexibility, the first biggest flexibility is what I call it as not having set the SOPs in stone. You don't need to pre-plan everything, that this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to do. You just let the system basically decide and change SOP if it needs to, because it makes more sense at a certain time, right? And then obviously at the physical layer, right, what it does is once you're integrated in such a fashion, right, the system quickly pulls up the person's profile, right, whether it's a robot or it's an associate, and says, okay, this is the skill sets and this is what this person's supposed to do. And suddenly you start rerouting resources to make that person or the robot efficient.
In applications that GreyOrange is rolling out in the marketplace, there's obviously a lot of overlap in the workflow between humans and machines, and there's safety concerns around that, how that's going to work most efficiently. How do you address the safety concerns that customers have?
GreyOrange is actually part of the UL body which sets the standards for safety. So obviously safety is really top of mind. But I would say that the kind of, since it's a standard off the shelf product, right? You can actually build in a lot more safety, a lot more testing, right? So safety is inherently built into them.
What do you see the AI being capable of in 1 to 5 years?
In supply chain, I mean, this might sound very small, but we are basically trying to be what we call as 5 minutes ahead. So when you're 5 minutes ahead, right, you actually can run many more scenarios, right, of saying, hey, okay, this is all the possible things, and you're feeding in. Firstly, your capability to process more and more data ahead of, if this happens, then that happens. And, and 5 minutes is a lot of time, right? 3 minutes would be, right, 3 minutes would be already killer. That's kind of where we are investing a lot of our R&D dollars right now, right? The future, it's all about pattern recognition, right? How soon can you take 4 points and detect that there's a pattern, right? So today we detect those patterns a lot in the fulfillment layer, right? But essentially the part of machine learning comes in is how quickly can you learn, right? So I think today a lot of efforts being done into like what we did 4 5 years ago was take a lot of data and train our models, versus today we can do it in a smaller set. I think the future is all about how can you use that training to be even shorter amount of data and train faster.